Greetings, all. I tried to make this video a couple of occasions, and both occasions I had to kind of discard it, erase it, delete it, because sometimes there are things that mustn't be said. There's a time for everything, as I've heard many times, and so I must find a way of relaying a message, specific message, not too broadly as I have in the past. This message is to those of us who are setting course for Africa. When I say setting course, our destination is Africa. And what I'm trying to do is to give you a heads up because from my vantage point, yes, it's a vantage point because it's like me standing on the mountain and seeing the valley all the way around the mountain, and the people standing in the valley who can only see their side, their small area. There's a complaint about Trump destroying all that people work for in America. And for us black people, people of African descent, Negroes, colored people, let me call it many names, but for us, it's normal. All we have to do is look back at history and see that every time Caucasians, even around the world, find themselves in a desperate situation that they have no solution for, they point at black people and say, there he is, he's the one who caused that, get rid of him. So all of their people focus on getting rid of him. And you can see it in America right now with the so-called DEI, and they're saying, black people are all the DEI people are black, which is falsehood. 90% of those people who are supposedly DEI are Caucasian women. Long before this DEI thing came along, there was something called Title VII, Title IX, where programs were being created to improve the status of black men, because they recognize that unless the black man is strengthened in America, the black family will fail. And so the feminists and their liberal friends, and black women too, join together to destroy that program. And the beneficiaries also at that time were Caucasian women. I remember getting out of the military and going to work for an airline, one of the biggest airlines in America. walk onto an airplane, and the black flight attendant now looked at me and said, I didn't call for a cleaner. So he walked off the airplane. When my boss saw me come back down, he said, well, what's going on? She said, I told her, the woman says she didn't call for a cleaner, so she didn't want me. He walked back up the stairs and with me standing behind him, he looked at her and said, you got a problem? She explained the problem to him, and he said, does he look like a cleaner to you? Eyes wide open now, no? Because there's this Caucasian man standing beside me. So I know what black women can do. That's not the only experience I had with. I have several. Let's put it that way. But we tend to fight the wrong fight at the wrong time. I seen in Africa, black women come into Africa by themselves or with their young daughters in tow and having serious problems. Some of them having to ask fellow men in Africa, fellow black men in Africa, for assistance. We've been going to Africa for generations. Since after the so-called end of slavery, the British have sent people to Sierra Leone, Gambia. Americans sent people to Liberia. If I am correct, my own looking at my own research, there's about 5 waves of Africans. I mean, people of African roots heritage left the West after slavery to return to Africa. This wave that we're in right now is not going to be the last one. You might have 10, 15, 20,000 people going to Africa and 19,000 left. The only large group that I've seen go to Africa and stay were Rastas. The Rastas, whether they're from Jamaica, from New York, from London, Barbados, any place in the Caribbean or South America, they go to Africa and they stay. But the others, unless they are wealth or have a name that was made in the West, most leave unprepared. Africa faces a daunting task of trying to fulfill what the West set for it as a target for them to come into the leadership of the world, 2063. But though they've been given that date, the reality is that there's always been the plan to keep them from arriving. It's like you giving a ticket to get on the airplane. You got to run the gauntlet of checking in at the ticket counter, going through the security, going to the boarding gate, and getting on that airplane. Somewhere between checking in at ticket counter and walking down the gate to the jetway to that airplane, there's an obstacle. And in America, one of the obstacles you face is policemen at the gate asking you if you have any money on you, how much you have, where you going. They confiscate all your money. But anyway, those obstacles that you face, you can see them being created here now. Before, you never used to see them before because they were done behind closed doors. But now under Trump, you're seeing them because they're reporting in the paper every day. Yesterday, I saw a list of nations that I saw a list of countries around the world, and they said red, yellow, and some other color, that Trump was going after these nations. And I saw videos, many of them made by women, who were saying Trump is trying to keep black people from traveling. And that was far from the truth. Trump is attacking your money. Trump is attacking your money, the money that you need to live on. Has nothing to do with your citizenship. Unless you come from a nation like China, and it's still attacking your money, even though they call it citizenship, but it's attacking your money. Because all the people who come to America come to make money in some fashion, whether it be from illicit trade or from businesses. They come to make money. And when they make their money, some of them go back to where they came from. That money, billions of dollars get sent out of America every year. If you go look at Nigeria or some nation where have a high rate of professionals in America, Jamaica, you will see that billions of dollars go back into their economies. So if Jamaica don't say what America wants it to say or do what America wants it to do, if there are too many Chinese and China's making deals with Jamaica, America has to stop that. China is making deals with Nigeria, America has to stop that. It's to do with the money. And that's what is happening in America to African Americans, Americans, black Americans. your job, your money is being confiscated. It's not because you're not qualified for the job. You are qualified. You're more qualified than the Caucasian woman. But like I said, you're always being attacked. When something disasters come upon the Caucasians, they have to find somebody to blame. So black people in America has always been blamed for that. But now you have a place to go, and it's called Africa. And the word is getting out that you're welcome. You're being welcome. And some of these African countries are not doing what America wants them to do anymore. They're selling raw materials to China. They're making deals with China. Money. That's why they're on the list. It's nothing to do with citizenship. As black women are saying, it's about money, about the dollar and its status in the world. And this status in the world goes hand in hand with American status in the world. Which lead me to Congo. This war in Congo, but there are wars in Cameroon and Sudan, Libya, Syria. But the one in Congo, the president, dear Mr. Trump, and he began to use some words that, I mean, like praising the man like a god. Come and save us, and we'll give you all the minerals you need. Come and save Congo, and we give you all. I will give you all the minerals you need. Can you imagine that? When I look at that, I say to myself, there's no shame like an African. Not one other African leader came up to him and said, brother, you can't do that. Let us build Africa together rather than you getting somebody else to come in. We will send our army to help you fight M23 and Kagame. Nobody has descended on Kagame for attacking Congo. Why hasn't he been taken out? And the people of Congo would rather run from their homes than stand and fight. You don't need weapons like the guns that Kagame is selling, is buying from the West and selling to M23. There is a way to destroy M23 without firing a shot. Every army needs food. You can't live too long on food that is not good for your body. Arrows, set traps. I remember the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong made some traps that, I mean, made you want to go out in the jungle and your heart want to fail because you're expecting to be killed by one of their traps. single stick with a point on it and some poison or some feces that's going to infect your wound, you're going to die a terrible death. M23 cannot survive if the people of the Congo the M23 are fighting in your territory. Why are you leaving home instead of learning how to destroy them yourself? Anyway, why I mention this is because when we go to Africa, there's all kinds of tribal, how would I put it, conflicts. Brewing under the surface. You may not see it. Most of you won't see it until you are attacked or it comes out into a full-scale war. And by that time, you put your anchors down, turn your engine off, and you're trying to relax. And for you to rush to escape, you're trapped. You may say, well, I'm going to Sierra Leone. But the tribal antagonist, the antagonist, the conflict that is being pushed. You may have America on one side, one tribe, and then British on one side with another tribe pushing a conflict that you don't see until it comes out in the open and you're standing in the middle. You have to know these things, though. A lot of you hear about Ghana and Gambia and Nigeria. You don't understand the social mechanisms at work there. The other day, 3 small nations in the Sahel decided that they were going to take out the corrupt leadership and try to rebuild the nations. And the organization that they were in, called ECOWAS, decided that they were going to attack them. They were going to declare war on them and return the old corrupt leadership. Now, the one in Nigeria, he was a drug dealer. The one in Ghana was stealing the money and borrowing money from the IMF to replace it. Benin, Cameroon, Senegal, all the leadership the same. They were going to borrow money to buy Western guns to enforce Western rules against these 3 who wanted to change how their countries are being run. Up to the 2-3 weeks ago, the president of Ghana, they sent him again. Hey, go convince these people that they should come back to ECOWAS. The old president couldn't convince him because everybody knew he was a criminal. The new president, now they sent him because this new blood. We can't go talk to him because they don't like us. They know what we try to do. So you go talk to them. when you go to West Africa, you're putting yourself in the middle of this. You might be able to live in Ghana, and you are thinking that you will live in Ghana. But the Ghanaians now are seeing you as the cause why everything is so expensive. But you didn't know that before you got to Ghana. Now you're in Ghana, there's no place to go because you sold everything in America or Britain or wherever you came from. And not even every Ghanaian is going to tell you that, hey, I hold you responsible for destroying my country. You might accidentally hear a conversation where Ghanaians are talking about that, or somebody, your friend, will say, you know, my friend says that you diasporans are causing things to be expensive here. We can't live. I see the same thing happen in Gambia. I see it happen in Ghana myself before I went to Gambia. And if you go to Nigeria, you go live in a village, local gangs come and kill you and take what you got, between them and the policemen and the army. Nobody, he just died. Sometimes he just disappeared. I remember going from Accra to the north, and policemen stopped the taxi I was in. They said, look, I don't want to go anymore, you know. The guy said, don't worry. He just saw you and think that, you know, if he holds me here, that you will pay him off. This is one honest Ghanaian taxi driver. Told me the truth. He said he wants my driver's license, but I always carry a copy. And I tell them that I forgot my original driver's license at home. So when they take it, they take a copy. I keep the original. See? That's how I learned about Africa. Experience. So I can tell you. This is about money. And with Trump taking away the money that was going to Africa, the only money left coming into Africa is diasporans traveling there. When Trump sends home the Africans, if you're not a citizen and you got a green card from, they stop you and charge you with some foolishness, take away your green card and send you back. They can do that to every Ghanaian, every African in America. Africa is not prepared for it. The leadership saw this coming, knew it was going to happen someday or another, because America cannot continue to flood the world with dollars. America cannot survive like that. Trump is just trying to slow the rate of decline down. Granted, he's trying to shock the whole world. And it may fail, but the way it looks is though it's going to succeed and it's going to destroy all the economies. So Africa is going to be looking at you and you are not prepared for what might happen to you, you better start preparing yourself. The African is not going to change until disaster comes on him. And even when disaster comes on him, you will see what's happening, like what's happening in Cameroon, what's happening in Libya, Syria, turn on each other. Tribal wars. So you need a community all going to Africa. Better formed communities. Because the only way you're going to keep things from getting out of hand is if you can feed a man. Africa, who has sold his land and can't plant anything on it, and the European is not going to be there to give him food, he's looking at you as a target. So unless your community is strong enough to make him walk back, but walk back with some food in his hand, so his family can live, you're in trouble. Peace.